Morning, awesome afternoon, and fantastic evening wherever you are in the world, because we know that MindPlore goes out to the whole world. In fact, today we have the United States, we have Canada, we have Vietnam, and Pakistan. Isn't that cool that we can get all these people together to speak, and yet we have never, at least I haven't met any of these people in person. I've met them online and I have spoken to them online. I think that is the coolest thing. Having said that, today on MindPlore, we're talking about happiness. And many of us think, I'll be happy when I get that job, or I will be happy if I get a phone call from a particular person, or I will be happy because of something. But does happiness really depend on something that comes to us? Or can we make a decision to be happy on our own? And when we make that decision, does our happiness fade away? Our mind causes so many issues for us, but it also gives us a chance to choose what we want. We can choose to be happy and joyful, whatever may be happening, or we can decide, oh, I'm not going to be happy until Hawan gets to the English show again. And I go miserable because Hawan hasn't made it to the English show, although she has now made it once. Or because Anna will speak to me on Facebook Live and do an interview. He has already done that. Or Rubina decides not to take the job and stay with MindPlore on a regular basis. Or I can decide just to be happy and see what happens. And that is what the question is about today. Just finding that joy and letting it grow. And when letting that develop, letting the momentum of happiness develop into our lives. And my nose is itchy and my throat is itchy too. So I am going to pass this on for someone else to speak. And I think I'm going to pick on Rubina. And remember the 2-minute rule. This is a good way to help you remember. And people, whether you're happy or not, remember you can make that decision to be happy. Rubina, can you please?
Yes, thank you so much, Carla, for having me on your show again. And it's really nice to see you again doing your show. Some people are asking me last week what happened, and I was telling them, and it's really nice to see you be healthy again. So it's today's topic is really a good one, interesting. It's whether our happiness should be conditional or unconditional. So as you yourself mentioned that happiness or any other emotion or feelings, it's our own choice actually. And but for me, the main question is obviously everybody will say that it should not be conditional. It should be unconditional. My question that I asked to myself and is that why it shouldn't be conditional, that why we put ifs, like if I will get that job or if I will get that thing, then I will feel happy. Why this if? Because what happens is that when we put some conditions on feeling some way, and as we are talking about happiness, what happens is that we are putting ourselves on a place where feeling that it's a place of lack actually, or scarcity, like I'm not having it at this moment, and I will be happy, or I will become, or I feel happy if I will get it. So right now I'm feeling scarce. I'm having this feeling of lack. And what happens is that this feeling of lackness or this feeling of scarcity changes my everything. It changes my personality. My personality is set according to those feelings of scarcity and lack, and which it can be, and it involves my physiology, my biochemistry, my psychology, even my spiritual health. I different kind of hormones or biochemicals my body is producing because I'm feeling that lack. It can be if I'm feeling stressed, if I'm having that anxiety, why I'm not getting this thing, I'm not having that job, how would I be able to, I'm having that anxiety, or I'm feeling stress, it will be different set of hormones, cortisols, adrenalines, fight or flight kind of hormones, not those normal ones that when I'm at peace or I'm having that happiness, I'm feeling happy, not those hormones. So it changes all my, and my brain waves will be different. It will be high beta brain waves my brain is producing. And similarly, in the same way, my heart is not coherent with my brain or my mind. I will not be able to take the steps or the decisions that I have to achieve that goal, or to achieve whatever I want to achieve. So the answer to that, why it should not be unconditional, because we put ourselves in a place of scarcity or lack, where our bodies, our personality is going to be different. So to change our personal reality, to make that thing happen, to make that, to get that goal, to achieve that goal, to make it my personal reality, I first have to change my personality. And my personality is all these things that I talked about. So if somehow I will be able to learn how to feel that happiness before achieving that goal, or before achieving what I am trying to achieve, I will be in a much more better form. My personality will be in a better form. And that in that form, it'll be easy for me to take steps, to take action, to make decisions, more wise decisions. I will be more calm. I'll be more at peace, and it'll be easy for me to achieve that goal. And it'll be easy for me to change my personal reality, which at right now it is not, and I'm feeling I'm having those feelings of. So it's all about changing the my own feelings. So you're showing me this phone, so it's my time is up. So that's my thought about it.
Thank you. And we'll come back to you, but I want everyone to briefly tell their thoughts and then let it evolve to a conversation. Huang.
Hi, Carla. Hi, everyone. Yes, I really want to say good morning or beautiful morning and amazing afternoon. I would say fantabulous evening to all of you wherever you are. So I want to say about myself first. Carla have said she has said that, oh, well, someone's forget your name. So my name is Huang. Yes, I'm from Vietnam, and I'm a teacher, a lecturer in a university. Now I'm in Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. Yes, that's closer to my parents' home. So I'm so happy, yeah, today. And the topic today, happiness. Yeah, thank you for inviting me and having me in this section to talk about this. So happiness for me, both can be like conditional and unconditional. You know? So sometimes it's unconditional, but sometimes it's conditional. Yes. So, but all the time, whenever every day when I get up and I open my eyes and I start my new days. Yeah. So I can collect my happiness. Yep. Thank you.
But is your happiness based on what is happening in your life? Or is it based on how you're feeling from something inside?
Yes, Carla.
Do you understand the question?
As far as I know, sometimes I feel happy. It's come to me very naturally. Yeah, I feel that every single day, every single minute, I'm healthy. I'm talking with other people, so I'm like enjoyable. Yeah, so every single activity here, that's my happiness. Yeah.
Okay. Victor.
Yes. Yes, Carla.
Give me your feelings about happiness. How do you see it developing?
Prior to getting into happiness and my thoughts about happiness, I'd like to point out that one way that I am happy more than I'm unhappy is by realizing the futility of using the word should. Whether or not happiness should be conditional or should be unconditional is really a difficult question for me to answer, because whenever I think of whether something should or shouldn't be, the question always comes is who decides what should or shouldn't be. One of my unwritten rules in life is the way that I succeed, the way that I stay where I like to be, is by not shoulding on people. Because when you get shoulded on, you seem like you immediately have to figure out, oh yeah, well, who says? So in terms of whether happiness is, whether it should be unconditional or not, I think it is irrefutable that as human beings, happiness is conditional. We may not realize it at the moment that it is conditional. We may not want it to be conditional, but the root word of happiness is happen. I think that happiness depends on what's happening. It doesn't have to, but I think for many of us, it does. At some point in our lives, in the life of an adult human being, they come to understand that nobody's going to make them happy. They come to understand that happiness is something that they have to do themselves. And when that happens, that human being begins to look for different things to do or for different things that they can think that'll make their happiness last longer and longer and longer. But as a wise man once said, no one's coming to save you except for you have to save yourself. So happiness is conditional, although the aspiration is that it not be conditional anymore. Basically, it's conditional for me as to whether I can tweak my mind at that particular moment, because I find that most of us are about as happy as we make up our minds to be. Back to you, Carla.
Well,
That's good.
that's the whole point. Do you really believe that happiness is based on your condition? Is happiness more based on how you're feeling inside about yourself? I'd like you to answer that question, and not whether happiness is and tell me, do you feel that it should be based on, oh, I have my favorite job right now. Am I going to be happy? Or can you be happy when you are working something that you don't like necessarily to do, like cleaning the toilet? It needs to be done. Do you have to be sad to clean the toilet? Or can you be happy when you're doing it, whether you like doing it or not? Victor.
One trick that I employ, and most of my tricks or mental, I play tricks on my mind, is that if I find myself involved in some physical activity that I'm not happy doing, then I'm happy for the fact that this physical activity is a step in the direction that's going to result in me being happy. And it doesn't really matter what the unpleasant task is. You can be happy doing an unpleasant task if you expect it to lead to something phenomenal.
True, but you don't even need that expectation. I like what, I can't pronounce this guy's name, so I'm not going to even try. But he says that happiness is only when you feel free, have peace of mind. Would anyone agree with that? Is it when you're peaceful?
In terms of the word only, I would remove the word only, because although happiness occurs when you have peace of mind, it doesn't only occur when you have peace of mind.
Right. What do you think, Adnan?
Thank you, ma'am, for adding me for this session, firstly. Secondly, I'm praying for your health, for your good health. And
Okay, go on.
this, I think this praise make you happy.
What?
Okay, let's come to the topic. The topic is that happiness should be conditional or unconditional. I think these are two steps. As a human being, we feel happy about doing something, about getting some job, about getting some wealth. And especially for the women, they feel very happy when they spend money, when they shop. Okay. I think so. That the main topic is, it is conditional. As a human being, we have emotions, happiness, sadness, loneliness, and they all are jointly integrated with some other things. Like when I feel sad, I would like to travel. I would like to read books. I would like to see some movies. And then my emotions change from sadness to happiness. This is a common phenomenon. Every human being have some emotions, have some circumstances. So you can say that it would make us happy. But the other thing is, it should be unconditional. Because human body has a very strong mind. We are just using our 2 or 3% of our brain. Just make yourself out of the conditions. I'm talking about like Buddha monks. I'm talking about the true leaders. I'm talking about the perfect human being. Like if I quote something, especially in our culture, they're called Sufi. Just I want to share just some small piece of, you can say that, a good saying, that a Sufi sits in his shrine and someone came and told him that your complete business is lost. He said, okay, don't care. After some time, the person came again and he again told him the first news is fake. You are okay. Your business is not lost. Your trading is okay. He said, good. I think that as a human being, it is conditional, but it should be unconditional. When you step from conditional to unconditional, I think you don't need any emotion, you don't need any circumstance to be happy. Then that state of mind make you free, that whenever you want to be happy, you will be happy. And when you will be happy, you can do everything more perfectly. You can lead everything more perfectly. You can teach everyone more perfectly. Even if I can say that, just I'm adding some words over there, that God made us its finest creature. And if we, you can say that if we busy ourselves in conditions and unconditional things, I think so for a normal human being, for 99%, for 90% human being, it is normal. But the question you asked, that it should be conditional or unconditional. So my answer is, it should be unconditional. Thank you.
And I agree with you, because if I need to be happy to have, Victor, please forgive me, this is coming out of my mouth.
It's okay.
If I know, if I need Victor in my life and Victor takes off for, don't have me deal with that right now. That's what I was talking about. But Victor goes out of my life and says, I'm not going to talk to you for 2 weeks. Is it does my happiness need to depend on Victor's talking to me? Or should it depend on just being being me?
Yes, it is. It should be. It's being you. If you believe on conditions, if you believe on persons, it is normal. It is a normal human phenomena. It is a normal human feeling that happiness relates to some conditions. But I think so, it should not be related to some conditions, to some people. Peoples are beautiful. Victor, you are also. So, but I think so that it should be unconditional to some extent. I think the relations, the people's, the connections with the people, it is beautiful. It's outclass. But I'm not saying that people don't affect our feelings. It should be. But the answer is, happiness should be unconditional. As you say, that your happiness depends on some other person, then where is you? Then it is him who control yourself. So I think so that happiness should be unconditional, but I think that not more than 5% human being achieve this phase of mind or achieve this state phase of mind.
Why?
Because we as a human being busy in our business, in our life, in our relations, and they all affects us. And when we just recognize, or we just think, you can say that some good things happens to our mind, it would affect us. As Ms. Rubina says, that some hormones created some bad feelings. It is correct. I'm not a student of science, but I think she is correct. It affected, but I think so that it would affect to some extent. You can say that 50%. But the other 50%, it belongs to me. It should belongs to my control. It should belongs to my mind.
What do you think, Rubina?
So much insight into this topic, and beautiful actually. And you talked about, Carla, peace, and Adnan was also talking about it. So it's about learning actually, what I believe is. And when you are at peace, and I shared it on my profile as well, that I prefer peace over happiness. So what is peace actually? Peace is when you are, so let's say that you are, or your emotions are like a pendulum, and they oscillate, right? They oscillate.
Yes.
Sometimes you feel happy, you get these positive emotions in your life, and it goes towards right side, and sometimes it goes towards negative side. What you have to learn is, we all have to learn, is that how to bring it back to the center, to that equilibrium, to that balance, as smoothly and as quickly as possible, and how to retain ourselves in that position. So and Adnan was talking about something else. What I learned, I want to share that how I learned it, about how to feel happy before even, and why and how, the answer to these two questions: why it's important to be in a state before achieving that, whatever it is, our goal or whatever it is. So I listened to some of the people, and I read some books, and the science they explained behind is, if we talk about the old school of thought in physics, which is Newtonian physics, where it says that it's about cause and effect, because in that physics, everybody believes that our universe, everything is just a mass or a matter. Everything is just particles. And it talks about cause and effect, like if something will happen, if I will get that job, it will create that effect of happiness or those emotions in me. That was the old Newtonian thought. But now when we study quantum physics, it says that everything in
How it
universe,
works.
we including us, it's waves. It's not just particles, it's also waves or
Yes, it is.
energy. It's energy. And so
Keep talking. I'm just
yeah. So according to this quantum physics, if a cause can create an effect, equally an effect can create a cause. If getting a job can give me happiness, getting that feeling of happiness in myself, and there is a process to learn it, how to do it. There's a science behind it. It's like learning push-ups, it's like learning doing yoga or any other exercise. So by learning that how to create that effect in myself, in my personality, I can create that cause, or that can it will be easy for me to get that job, whatever I'm looking for.
I just want to add something. You have talked about, Rubina, you have talked about
Oh
quantum
yes,
physics.
go ahead please.
You have talked about quantum physics.
Yes.
I want to add something, the theory of everything. The theory of everything is that when you achieved that state of mind, if you have a firm belief on that, then, as you said, that jobs make you happy. And when you be happy, everything in this universe starts trying your help. That is the theory of everything. I have learned just 2 and 3 weeks ago from the book of my friend, Universe, in Urdu language. And after that, I have tried more than 2 and 3 times that when I'm happy, I perfectly deal my customers. I perfectly live with my family, and I perfectly deal everything. Then I decided that whatever goes on, I would not be sad. And this works entirely different attitude and different circumstances on all of me.
Because this universe is a combination of two types of energies, negatives, positives. When you are having those positive emotions and feelings in yourself, you're synchronizing yourself with the positive
That's
energies in the universe, and everything starts working for you in favor of you in increasing that positivity or all that stuff. So
if you
it's
see, if you,
you are having
I'm just
sadness
interrupting
or
you.
negative
Have you
emotions.
seen the movie?
Whoa,
Have you
whoa,
seen the
whoa,
movie?
whoa. Excuse me,
Lucy?
Adnan. Part of this is listening to the other person and not interrupting.
Okay,
Because
sorry.
when you begin to interrupt, people are no longer listening to what other people are saying. You're
Okay.
new, I understand where it's coming from, but during the show, we want to give that respect.
Okay, sorry.
You know now. Thank you, Adnan. Rubina, please finish your thought.
Okay, so I was almost done. It was like if it's up to you, it's up to me that what kind of energies. That's why I talked about quantum physics and all that stuff. That what kind of energies I want to sink in. So if I would be in a sad or those negative emotions all the time, I will be synchronized with those negative energies out there in the universe. And to me, but to me, it's more about not in the negatives, nor in the positives, to be more in a peace, in a peaceful state. Most of the time, if we somehow we are able to learn to how to come back to that state, it's way better than even in, because sometimes what happens is that if those positive states, the happiness or excitement or that is not even good for us. So it's all about learning how to be at peace with ourselves.
I just want to add something.
That's
If
fine.
anyone,
Go on.
anyone sees the movie Lucy,
Are you talking about I Love Lucy and Lucille Ball?
no, Lucy, only Lucy.
No, I haven't heard of it even.
The main topic in that movie is that in all our life, we just use only 5% of our mind. Dolphin, especially the dolphin,
Yeah.
it's the maximum in the whole world, not universe. It is a creature which uses 15% of its mind. And in the, you can see that where they live in the water, they just send waves to talk with other dolphins. And if you've seen that, the dolphins are tamed very beautifully. While we see them in playing with humans, while we see them playing with balls, I'm astonished. It is very astonishing for me that how can they can they tamed? Then I've seen the movie The Lucy. In that movie, they said, and the main, I think so, the researcher was Morgan Freeman. And he said that all our life we have spent just using our 5%. And if he also assumes a theory that if we use just 30%, not 100%, just 30% of our mind, we can control everything in this universe.
And that can be done, but many people do not use their full mind because they're stuck in the world as it is. And we see the world, oh, today Victor isn't speaking to me. Oh, I'm going to be so sad. Or today Hoang gets to the English show and I get some help and I feel joyous. But I can't allow Victor or Hoang to control my emotions or control my happiness. That happiness can last throughout all of that. It can be there whether Huang makes it to the English show or not. It can be there if I never speak to Victor again. Not that that'll happen most likely, but it can be there. A sad experience in my life. My brother died just about 2 months ago. I didn't know until about a month later. He didn't, well, he couldn't come and tell us, hey, I left the planet. But no one told us. And we found out purely by, I want to say coincidence, although I don't think there are any coincidences. Did my knowledge of losing my brother change the peace that I had within or without? I hadn't, my brother by his own choice chose not to talk to me for many years. That wasn't my choice. But I think back now, would I have been happier if I could have gone and said, hey, Roy, I love you. Never did it. Happiness isn't dependent on the other people around us. It's dependent on what we're feeling within, or that's my take on it. What do you think, Huang? You have been very, very quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a professional listener today, but I enjoy a lot. I enjoy your shares. Yeah. Actually, I have been observing about some ways can create our happiness, or something we call like a conditional or unconditional, right? From our expectation, like some people, they expect a lot, but it's kind of over expectation. For example, some parents, they expect that their children will be like this, will be like that, but after all, they move on to different direction, not as they wish. So that's they don't meet their expectation. But they have to see and watch whatever their children move and grow with their own way, not their way, right? So that's very different from different perspectives and different people. Obviously, I can say that. And secondly, I have seen like comparison, when we compare ourselves to other people. So we never feel satisfied, right? And something we say, oh, that person much better, that person. No, we are unique. So each person is unique with their way. So that's why it's not able to create happiness at all when we compare ourselves to other people. And finally, I can say like some factors from our environment can influence or impact on the mood, the life. Yeah, like you have said that about your relatives, beloved people around you, or other factors. Yeah, that can create something not nice for you and for us. Yes, but we have to accept and overcome all difficulties and obstacles. Yeah, so joy to be happy, of course, and how to solve the problems in a proper way, the best way as you can. So thus you can stay happy, stay cool. Yeah, that's the way. And how to reduce and remove all, I can say that negative thoughts or negative factors can impact on the life. Yep, that's my share.
I like
That's
that.
good.
You said something that kind of hit me very hard. Does how to say this. And I think I've already said it, but I think it's important to bring it out. Does the happening, whatever is happening in the world, really create our happiness? Or is the happiness created already by the peace of mind that we have because we're relaxed?
I move on. I'm supporting the way happiness is available there. So always recognize and move ahead, because whatever we are doing and we are catching, just stay happy. And for me, when supporting and helping other people, I never expect anything in return, but suddenly a lot of things come back to me. I don't know about that. That's amazing. Yes.
You're right. Suddenly something we're not expecting comes back and we feel happy about it. But is it really that incident, or is it something that is within us? Victor, you're looking like you're falling asleep. Wake up and talk.
I don't feel like I'm falling asleep.
Your eyes look like it.
That's because I'm looking down at the screen. When I look at the camera like this, right, when I'm speaking, my eyes look fine. And it has long been a belief of mine that the material world that we live in, the things that happen to us occurs because of what we're thinking most of the time. And happiness is a byproduct of what we are thinking most of the time, not necessarily what we are doing. But I recently ran into a statistic that floored me. It also empowered me when it said that 75% of the people in the world, 75, that's 3/4 of the people in the world, believe that the group of which they are a part is being maligned. Whether they're a man, whether they're a woman, whether they're American, whether they're Pakistani, whatever group they are in, these people are walking around feeling that they're being victimized. What that did for me in terms of happiness is that helped me realize that 3 out of every 4 people that I run into are looking for a reason not to be happy, because feeling victimized and feeling maligned are certainly not happy states of mind. And since human beings have this inescapable characteristic of being affected by other human beings, I am therefore committed to, number one, not being one of the 3 out of 4 that's looking for a reason to feel victimized. And when I meet people, I treat everyone as though they are one of the 3, which means that I'm not going to do anything to give them a reason to not be happy. Certainly, no one is sitting around saying to themselves, I sure wish that Victor would come by and straighten me out and tell me where I'm thinking wrong. I sure do Victor would come by, or somebody, and come and tell me how wrong I am and how I'm living my life so that I can change. And since we know that there's nobody sitting around waiting for those things to happen, I'm committed to not doing those things. But there is a segment, there is some of us who think that we know, and we think that since we know, we have to share. And rather than listening to where someone is coming from or listening to what they're saying, we open up with, this is what you should do. That doesn't help others be happy. And if you're happy, you're not going to do that to others.
You know, I've spoken to many Pakistanis in the past 5+ years. And in that time, I've spoken to many who have said to me, I'm becoming an engineer. And I'll ask, what made you decide to be an engineer? Well, my dad told me I needed to do it. But I really want to be an artist. Where is the happiness there when you do what someone else wants you to be?
The happiness is deferred, Carla, because alas, none of us were born knowing what we know now. And had we known what we know now earlier, then we would have become what we are now earlier. So for the individuals that first make an attempt to please others by doing what others say to them, whether that's their parents or a teacher or whoever, those individuals' happiness is deferred, is delayed in life, because you will find after doing what others want you to do, that doesn't make you happy. And so the lesson then becomes, I guess I'm going to start doing what I want to do. So this continuum where we live and moving from unhappiness to happiness is not immediate. And because it's not immediate, this thing called life is what we use to get from being unhappy to being happy. So in terms of where their happiness is when they're doing something that someone else wants them to do instead of what they want to do, I would repeat, their happiness is deferred.
Ms. Carla, you have talked about Pakistani. We are the most.
Because, wait a minute, I was just thinking that was not appropriate. But I speak to Pakistanis almost every day about English. And when I'm speaking to the kids and they tell me they're going to be an engineer, and I ask them why, and they say, because my dad told me I'm going to be one.
Yes,
Is that going to bring that joy to the child? It'll make dad happy. Oh, my son's an engineer. But he doesn't want to do it. That work doesn't interest him. Now, that also happens in this country. It happens all over the world, where dad says or mom says, I want you to do this. Or a girl is expected to get married and have kids, but the girl doesn't want to have kids. And maybe doesn't even want to get married yet. I remember my mom trying to get me married. There was no one, the people she introduced me to, absolutely no. 5 minutes around them was way too much of my time. And I had to give an evening. That's what I'm talking about. It was wrong for me to say Pakistani, though.
Yes, Ms. Carla, you're right. But I'm just adding thing that the Pakistanis are the most obedient children of the parents. We have that privilege.
Well, you have no choice. Remember, you live in those joint families. It's how you grow up. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I actually think it's probably a very wonderful thing. But it changes, the cultures change the people and what they do. And that's another really great topic. How cultures change how people view the world around them. Go on. I'm sorry, I interrupted you several times.
No problem, it's okay. I think, Ms. Carla, in our culture, the joint family system, as Miss from the Vietnam said, that we have some expectations in our minds to make us happy. The more expectations we have, the more difficult we will be happy. If we make our life simple, we will be more happy. This is the main, I think so. This is the tagline of the life. But when you talk about our culture, like joint family system, like parents, like expectations of the parents from the child, because they have already passed from that phase of life. The father said, you should be the doctor. The son says, okay, it's okay. especially in the type of the girl or the females, it is, I think so, that is 90% necessary for the girls to obey for her parents. I think so. In the hands, in the form of one person, it is very open in your culture that you decide your own destiny. But in our culture, we have to see, we have to obey, we have to, you can say that we have to bear very much things. And at one place, you say it that it is not good. But on the other hand, when our parents happy, we will happy. The other thing is, I think so.
One thing, you said something that wasn't really what I said, but it was how you perceived it. I didn't say that it isn't good to be in a joint family. I actually think it was probably a wonderful thing to grow up in. But that is very strange to our culture, because when someone grows to a certain age, they go to college, and many times they live away from home. They get married and they live separate from their family. That's a different type of culture. It's a different type of life. I can't be sure that it's better or not so good, because I've never been there. And I have never been in that type of environment, although I probably will be experiencing it pretty soon. But it's how we use the words that makes things go good or not so good. Okay. I'm sorry, I had to interrupt about that.
No, it's okay. This is not interruption. This is, I just want to clear something that I'm learning from all this conversation, because I have spent a different life, different cultures, from America, from Vietnam, from different people of culture. So at the one thing you can say that if we have in the joint family system, there are some bad things, or there are some side effects, you can say that. But at the other hand, I remember my childhood. I remember when I was up to 10th year of the age, we live in combined joint family system, and the happiness outclass. Our cousins were mutual celebrations, even till this day. We have made some WhatsApp groups, we have made some Facebook groups, and we have arranged some family events. That's the beautiful things in our culture. The second thing you have talked about, that many Pakistanis, or many, you can say that Asian especially, you can say that Asian cultures in joint family systems, or they are obeying their parents to do what they don't want to be, but the parents want to be. So that is a some extent problem. And you can say that Victor says that you might be not so much happy at that phase of mind if you start your own career, or if you choose your own destiny, as you said that. Thank you.
What do you want to say, Victor, to that?
No comment. I was just listening, and I was a little bit distracted, so I can't really speak to it. I see that my time is cruising along, though.
Yeah, we are going to, and I want everyone to put in their last final remarks. And I'm going to start with Halong, because I want to make sure she talks.
Yes, I have talked a lot today. Thank you. Yes, so my final was just whatever comes to you, just stay happy and find out a good solution to go ahead. Never give up. It's just the thing I always remind my students. Yeah, we are here ready and available to be next to you and move with you and grow with you. Yes.
Thank you, Halong. Rubina.
Yes, Carla, you talked about, Adnan talked about it, our culture, and Victor was talking about like it's relating to our culture. Like we do things that our elderly people or our parents want us to do, and at the end we're not happy with it. And later in life, some people they learn that I was living my life to please other people, and now from now on, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it my way, and only that way I'll be able to be happy. So, and some people, even at the later stages, they are not able to learn it because it becomes their nature. In childhood, they learned it to please other people, to make other people happy, and it's problematic for them throughout their life. So I believe that it's all about learning. If I realized that that's how I should be, like I can be happy without gaining anything from the external world. It's my internal world I have to fix. I should practice it on myself, and I should let other people, the way we are doing it now, discuss with other people, and especially children. Do not, you talked about our culture and Adnan, so do not force our next generations the way we have been forced by our parents or our elders to do something which we do not want to do, we did not want to do. So I think it's all about learning ourselves and helping others, and especially the children, the coming generations, to learn it, that how to fix our internal world. If our internal world is fixed and we are at peace and we are happy, everything outside in the external world will be changed and different. Thank you.
You're welcome. Victor. And don't tell me how you are.
Okay. No, I appreciate it being on the show today, and
I think Miss Carla loves you.
all well, she can't help it. I mean, what's not to love, right?
I love most people, so go on.
Right. But happiness, as we have discovered, is actually something that we can decide to be. And if there was going to be any obstacles to being happy, I would think that it's what we think about other people and what they're thinking. We could be happy in the face of a lot of difficulties and a lot of obstacles. And some of those things, people would be surprised to know that we could be happy in the face of those things. And so rather than taking the chance of being disapproved of because we are happy in the face of certain calamities, we sacrifice our happiness just so we can be accepted by others. So happiness is an individual journey, and there's no reason why each and every one of us can't decide to be happy as many times and as often as possible.
Thank you, Victor. Adnan.
Thank you, ma'am. As you said, the topic is happiness should be conditional or unconditional. So my answer is it should be unconditional, and it would be conditional to some extent. That's all.
Okay, your thoughts. And I believe that if you depend on your conditions to make you happy, you'll never be happy because you are always expecting more and more and wanting more and more. And with that, we will have another show on Thursday if my voice holds up and my energy does. And I am going to end the show today. We'll be back on Thursday and talking more about happiness with some other people. Can we wave goodbye, everyone?
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.